Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking what I'd honestly call a massive modern epidemic. I'm talking about that exhausting everyday habit of trying to force outcomes in our lives. You know exactly what I mean. We push, we optimize, we grind, and it so often leads us straight to burnout. But what if the way we are trying is actually the problem? Okay, let's dive into this and explore a radically different approach to how we live and work. We have to start with a universal paradox, and it's one you've almost certainly experienced right in your own bed. You try to fall asleep, right? But instead, you just become more awake. The harder you force your eyes shut and mentally command your brain to power down, the more painfully alert you get. It's like the effort itself becomes the exact thing keeping you awake. And man, we see this absolutely everywhere. Just think about it in a casual conversation. You try to be funny, you force a punchline, and suddenly, you become significantly less funny. The harder you push for a laugh, the more you strip away that natural, spontaneous ease that actually makes things humorous in the first place. It creates real social friction, too. You try desperately to be liked, trying to say all the right things to fit in, and the exact opposite happens. People pull away. They can kind of sense that grasping, that unnatural effort, and it just creates this really uncomfortable barrier between you and them. Which brings us to the ultimate, deeply uncomfortable truth of this entire paradox. Try to be happy, and happiness just moves further away. It becomes this completely moving target. And this reveals something really profound. Most of what you are exhausting yourself trying to force doesn't actually need to be forced. In fact, the forcing is exactly what's breaking it. Concept 1, Mushin, the empty mind. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how 12th century Japanese philosophy tackled this exact paradox, revealing that true mastery actually looks like not trying at all. So, when Zen Buddhists applied the philosophy of presence to arts like swordsmanship or even tea pouring, they called this state Mushin, which translates to no mind. But I want to be really clear about something here. This is absolutely not some negative emptiness. It definitely doesn't mean you're a zombie. Mushin is simply the state where the calculating, judging, self-conscious mind finally steps aside. It's that beautiful moment in a conversation when you stop agonizing over what to say next, and the absolute perfect words just arrive. And I can guarantee you have felt this. It's a completely universal human experience. Athletes call it being in the zone. Musicians call it being in a flow state. Zen masters call it Mushin, but every single one of them is pointing at the exact same thing. It's the disappearance of your self-consciousness, completely replaced by pure, unhindered presence. There's this classic Zen story about a student who spent years practicing archery. He achieved total technical perfection. Yet his master wasn't satisfied. He told him, you are still trying to hit the target. The master explained that when the student was truly ready, the arrow would simply find the center on its own, because the archer, the arrow, and the target would no longer be separate things. Now, the student thought this was ridiculous, until one night he released an arrow in the dark, without thought, without aim, without trying, and heard it strike the dead center. He finally stopped trying and just let pure presence take over. 2. Shokunin, a lifetime of dedication. Let's move to and see how this builds when we apply this philosophy to our daily labor. So how does not trying actually look when we go to work? Well, this brings us to the concept of the Shokunin. While it's often translated simply as craftsman, actually the true meaning goes way, way deeper. A Shokunin is someone who dedicates their entire life to a single practice. They aren't doing it to optimize their income, or to go viral, or to multitask their way to some early retirement. They do it simply because the practice demands everything, and giving everything is the only honest response. Take the legendary Tokyo sushi chef Jiro Ono, for example. He has been making sushi for over 70 years. The man literally dreams about sushi. And he doesn't do this out of some unhealthy modern hustle culture obsession. Not at all. He does it because he understands that total commitment to one single thing, done with complete care and complete honesty, is actually one of the deepest forms of human fulfillment available to us. 3. Wabi-sabi, beautiful imperfection. This brings us to wabi-sabi. It's the radical idea of finding beauty in imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness. And this brilliantly illustrates how Zen completely redefines our modern, highly stressful pursuit of Instagram perfect lives. Wabi-sabi basically says, hey, you need to stop waiting for things to be flawless before you're allowed to find them beautiful. Just picture a cracked tea bowl that was repaired with gold. It actually becomes more beautiful exactly because it was broken. Or think about the irregular moss on an old stone wall or the natural fading of old wood.
Wabi-sabi teaches us that imperfection is not a problem you have to fix. It's literally the whole point. The cracks, the asymmetries, and the fading edges of your own life, they don't mean you're failing. They mean you are living a perfectly, beautifully wabi-sabi life.
4. Shoshin, the beginner's lines.
Now we arrive at Shoshin, or the beginner's mind. This is the practice of approaching absolutely everything, your partner, your job, even your morning coffee, as if you're experiencing it for the very first time. You intentionally drop the filter of what you think you already know. You look at the world with fresh, uncertain, and deeply curious eyes. Why? Because the truth is, the person you speak to today has changed since yesterday, and you know what? So have you. Zen master Shunryu Suzuki perfectly captured this. He said, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few." So the crucial point is this. The expert is trapped. The expert thinks they've already seen it all, so they stop paying attention. They have tight categories and these rigid expectations. But the beginner? The beginner remains wonderfully open to the magic of life. Every problem is just a new invitation to see something differently. So I want to leave you with this. Where in your life are you trying too hard? Where is the pure effort you're putting in actually becoming the obstacle? I want to challenge you to really think about where you might release your grip, quiet that calculating mind, and just let something deeper take over. And remember, you don't need an immediate answer to this. Just sitting honestly with this question right now is the perfect beginning to your understanding. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.